Hello and welcome to the Touchline podcast. I think we're still alive. We've just been a little busy starting sixth form, stuff like that. So now Christmas holidays, good time to get back into the flow of things. Hopefully we can bring some content. And a lot of things have changed in the last 6 months. A lot of things have happened. So what have you lot been up to?
Yeah, just been busy, like you said, but still catching up with football and stuff.
So it was like, I think it was a Sunday, and I probably watched one of the best games this season. Uh, it was obviously a
Very bad.
delight. Yeah, a delight for Premier League fans,
Yeah,
Premier League
Yeah, no, you were at it.
neutrals.
No, you were at it. How was
Oh
it?
yeah,
yeah.
he
No,
was
I
at it.
was
So tell us
I was
what.
at the game, and yeah, it was like you said, it was electric. It was great. One of the best games I've watched, and particularly that atmosphere, the way the crowd was, it was exciting. Something, and it shows why it's important to have the fans in the stadium, and it's important to keep the Premier League going. Obviously, stuff's been said about how that could be cancelled for a bit or
Yeah,
whatever, but hopefully it doesn't happen. But yeah, it was just a great game of football.
something I would say is before the game, if you said to Spurs fans a draw, you'd be quite happy with that. But near the end of the game, it looked like you should have won it. You had loads of chances where you just
Yeah,
threw away.
yeah, we missed a
Yeah,
lot of big chances. Like normally we're quite clinical actually. With Son and Kane, they normally take their chances. But I don't know, like Kane missed that chance where it was played in by Ali. Son was thrown goal at one point. Ali had that chance that was saved by Alisson. So we had a lot of big chances. And so yeah, while I would have taken 2-2 before the game, at the end I felt a little bit disappointed that we didn't win the game, particularly when
Mm,
they had 10 men by the end of it.
yeah,
I
I think
mean, while Spurs had the few chances missed, there were also poor refereeing decisions as well. Like Harry Kane could have been sent off
Yeah,
as
but there
well.
were also other poor refereeing decisions. I think we should have had a penalty.
yeah.
I think Winks
I
when
think
Winks was bundled over by Matip.
I think Liverpool would have had a penalty as well.
Yeah, they could have done as well.
So,
On paper, like Liverpool starting 11 was better than Tottenham's, but in the game it showed that Liverpool. I mean, obviously defensively they weren't to the best of their ability because Van Dijk gone as well. There was
yeah,
Spurs. I think they were better up front than defensively
like
in
on,
that
on
game.
form,
I'd
on
say
form.
the midfield was Liverpool's biggest weakness because they lost Fabinho and Henderson as well.
And Thiago.
Yeah,
Yeah, their
Yeah, but just
midfield was a complete mess. We were able to pass through them quite easily.
Yeah, but just
Whereas
defensively overall, they were just poor as well. Like
Hmm.
even when they went down to 10 men, they were playing so like such a high line. It was like
yeah,
you had players like
Yeah,
Son and Mora, and it was just like suicide. So
yeah.
I think,
Because we had the wing backs essentially just push up, and it meant that
yeah,
we could easily expose the centre backs with Son and Kane. And what it did mean that Liverpool fullbacks had a bit of space. We didn't deal with it. They did, Robertson scored, Alexander Arnold got an assist, but it meant we were able to create a lot of chances. But it also showed how important Van Dijk is for Liverpool when he's not there.
and
also
then
yeah.
like
players like Harry Winks and Deli Ali, like people were saying that they'd be gone. Like this game, maybe they'd have reprived their future. Maybe they'll play some more games under Antonio Conte.
Winks especially had a
Mm.
very good game. Ali
He
Ali
was
was a
Yeah.
decent, but he had a few moments where he could have been better. But
Yeah,
Winks especially, he controlled that midfield there. So,
yeah.
yeah, he had a
But
good.
to counter that, the Liverpool midfield
Yeah, that is the point. They were playing some.
was a great or a hard one to
Yeah, they were playing some
play
like
through.
19-year-olds. So yeah,
Yeah,
Let's talk about the controversy actually. The Harry Kane yellow card. I mean, people are saying it's a red, people are saying it's a yellow, but like, what do you guys think of that?
I think
I
now
mean,
yeah, I think it's just how you interpret it, man. Like some referees would have given that a yellow, some referees.
I mean, it's a text. For me, it's a textbook red card, but like for others, they're saying it's I don't know, yellow, whatever. But I don't know.
I
I
think
I've seen
just
Kane.
so
I
many.
think Kane put it quite well. He said it's a strong tackle, but I don't think it was red,
I
and I agree with
think
him. It's just a strong tackle.
no, no, I agree. I think what we look at what some reds that have been given in the past since VAR has come in, and we've seen that sort of stuff given as a red, but I don't think that's a red. Like I think it's a bit of a strong challenge. Robertson was already off the ground, so it wasn't as much of a leg breaker as it could have been because his foot wasn't planted, and it was lower down on the legs.
about
I mean, one of the
Liverpool.
Liverpool goals as well. There was a shout for handball as well when Mo Salah handballed it.
Oh yeah, no, that was a disgraceful decision. He controlled it with his arm. Yeah, that there's no way that should have been given as a goal. Yeah, no, that was annoying. But
I think on the last season's rules it would have been disallowed, but they have tweaked the rules slightly. So on this
Yeah, I
season,
think we're just with these rule changes, referees are just confused. Like, there's no
Yeah,
consistency
yeah.
between decisions. Like, they don't know. Like, they change the rules so quickly and consistently. Like, it's difficult. Like, so I think it's not all the referees' fault. Like, I think it's not the rules aren't clear enough. Always chopping and changing.
I don't know what's a foul, what isn't a foul.
Yeah.
Because at the start of the season, they said they were going to let more challenges go, so you don't know what's a red now, what's a yellow, what counts as a penalty, or so it is difficult to understand. I think they need to be more clear with that. And I do think the referee did get some decisions wrong with. So that's what it is.
Also, like, speaking of Salah as well, your defense dealt with him really well. Like, he didn't have a sniff. Didn't really do anything. I think
No,
Sessegnon and Davies on that left hand side, really, like, he's one of the best players in the world right now, and you guys' defense dealt with him really well. I think. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I've been impressed with Davis since he's come in under Conte. He's looked very good in that left centre back role.
Yeah.
And he was impressive, like especially when he was left a little bit isolated. If Sessegnon went forward, he dealt with Salah quite well. And then when Sessegnon came in, I mean, this is his first Premier League start in over 2 years for
Yeah.
Sessegnon.
He
So to
struggled
come
a
in
lot
and
with
just
injury.
defend Salah how he
Yeah.
did was really, quite impressive.
So, good performance from Tottenham, but considering circumstances like COVID and stuff, I think, like, I do think Liverpool still should have won in the form that they're in, but Tottenham showed them a good fight and probably should have taken it in the end.
I agree.
Cool. So another game over the weekend was Manchester City versus Newcastle, and like take the game away. It's just we haven't really talked about the Newcastle takeover and just that overall and what it'll do for football. Really, the new owners are very rich, and it could completely flip over football.
I mean,
Yeah.
considering that they've got lots of money, I do think Eddie Howe was an uninspiring managerial appointment when there were lots of other better managers.
Yeah, but like, who would manage them at this point in time? They're like bottom of the league. Like, who would join them they do have a lot of money, but like they look championship bound at this point. Like, who are you gonna get in? Like,
in my opinion, they should have just gone into a manager who has proven Premier League experience.
Like who?
Who was available?
Who's available?
I don't know like any of the managers available, but Eddie Howe, he did get relegated with Bournemouth.
Yeah, but you can't say you need to
He
go
kept
with
them
a proven manager if you don't know
for
who's
so
available.
many
You
years.
can't.
Eddie Howe kept them afloat. He kept Bournemouth afloat for so many years. He got them from League One, Bournemouth from League One to the Premier League. So I don't know if it was at a point it was a really good manager. So, and considering the circumstances, I don't think many managers would have managed them in the first place. Like, they look really bad, and I do think that they'll get relegated, especially with all that money. They still look championship bound. So yeah.
Who they find in the January transfer window if they get in any good players.
Like, the players that they're linked with are just like washed up players that they if you looked at who they're linked with, you haven't seen like one big good player. It's like players like Coutinho and Martial, players that are like they were good when they were playing in their prime years, but they're washed up now. Like, I don't see the point in buying them.
Also, but if you're getting all these players in January, like, just to build a whole new squad in January, you need team cohesion, you need a bit of time to gel players together. You can't get a whole new set of players. It's all right to get 1 or 2 players in January, but to get 5 or 6, which is what Newcastle need, it's going to be very difficult then to gel them together. And
exactly. It's a completely different new squad. If you go and buy out a new 11, they're not going to have that, like you said, team cohesion. So yeah, I think you'll win that. Yeah.
I mean, right now their immediate priorities to stay up, and then for the next season they can do whatever they need to do and go buy whoever they need.
I can't see them staying up though.
I 100% can't. Like, the squad that they've got is not good enough. Like, plus that's negative football as well. I don't see them.
They were in a similar position last season, though. They managed to get quite comfortable Like I remember they were 19th mid-season last time, and
They
managed
look way worse this season, in my opinion. Though I think
Yeah.
like players that they got an aging squad as well, so and they haven't really improved over the summer with signings. It's just a declining squad, so I don't see them staying up. So yeah,
it
it's a
does.
tough job for Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a bit of a rebuild job from the Championship and then back up to the Premier League
Yeah.
and from there. Because right now it looks all hopes lost.
Also, it's a question of what sort of players can Newcastle?
What is this?
Oh yeah. So I was wondering. So it's all likely to down. So Newcastle likely to go down. You know, what sort of players do you think they could actually attract in January that would want to join a team that's probably going to get relegated? Like who do you reckon?
Washed up players like I was saying before. Don't think anyone of high profile would join them at this point in time as well.
If they
That's what I mean. Like,
if they do get relegated, they'll probably sign some bottom half Premier League players who are willing to drop down to the Championship for like this 2-3 seasons, and then when they come back up, they'd probably end up leaving.
yeah, I don't think that's sustainable though. I think if Newcastle want to stay up, they've got to try and sign the right players. It's not really going to be possible. Like you can't really expect a player like Coutinho, who's going to be on a fat contract, to be down in the Championship. He's not going to want to do that.
Also, it's not FIFA. You can't just buy a squad of like Premier League or bottom half players and then next season buying like a Neymar, Messi, and Ronaldo and then win the league. Like it's not that easy. So I don't think.
I mean,
I think
once they build up their squad, it'd be very easy. But then again, look at QPR from like 10 years ago. They had a lot of money and they ended up getting relegated and having.
But that's because their money ran out. They didn't have any more. They ran out because when they had the money, it happened with like Portsmouth as well. They had money, and when it ran out, but I don't think that's a problem with Newcastle. So I think it'll be fine.
No.
It's just getting to that point because right now they look done, and they can't just go out and buy 11 of players because they won't gel together in time to get them out of the league. And then when they're in the Championship, they can't just keep buying players again and again. So I think right now, but when they get out of this little situation, I think they'll be fine. Situation.
I mean, the transition will it'll be a bit longer if they get relegated because City were a solid mid-table team and they only took them like 3-4 years less. For Newcastle, I see it being like 10 to 15 years if they do get relegated.
I think it will be a slow process as well. I agree. It's not FIFA career mode, even though it might seem like that with the money. It's nothing like it's going to be a long time once they get relegated, attract the players, get it to work, and they got it's stepping stones. They've got to spend a few years batting out relegation, a few years mid-table, a few years fighting for those European places, a few years, fighting for the title. It's going to take a long time. So I'm not actually worried about Newcastle right now. As a Spurs fan, thinking of
in like 10, 15 years, I think they'll be one of the best team in England. I think they'll have an unreal squad. But we'll see in it. They could just collapse. FFP could just screw them over.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll have to see. Yeah, exactly. You got to factor in the FFP as well. They can't just go out and buy.
Exactly.
Players like that.
Do your PSG though, because City were caught breaking FFP, got suspended from the Champions League, but got overturned like immediately.
No, but I think Man City are more of a sustainable football club without the owners.
Yes, City showed. I think they had a court case and they showed that they generate revenue from the club as well, something like that. I don't know the exact ins and outs. But with Newcastle, is City just going to be money coming in from owners? It's not going to be coming in from anywhere else. So.
Big players on big contracts, they can't afford it. It's the owners that can afford it, and that's why the FFP might be a bit of a problem for them.
Yeah.
I mean, if they have a smooth and slow transition, they'll end up like as a Europa League team, and then once they get into the Champions League, they'll end up making money, becoming sustainable, and then as long as they don't overspend, then FFP wouldn't be a major problem.
It's getting to that point. Getting to that point even is going to be a long way. Like the situation they're in right now, getting to that seems impossible. So. Well, and then there wasn't really much games this weekend, but there was another one, Chelsea. Pretty drab draw, and I'm a Chelsea fan, and I just want to talk about what do you think of their title chances?
Personally, I don't think you're as good as City and Liverpool. However, I do see them eventually dropping points, Liverpool especially because of AFCON in January. So, and you do have a few key players injured, like you had Kante, Jorginho and Kovacic out injured, and recently your strikers were out as well.
It's too early to rule them out anyways.
I still think that Liverpool and City have better teams than us, so I don't see us being them. I see us
It doesn't
comfortably
matter.
against.
City are only 6 points above us. It doesn't take much.
Yeah, but like
get that top spot.
6 points in this title race is a lot. You're asking City to drop to
You're-
lose 2 games, and I think that's actually quite a big ask at this point in time. We've seen that teams getting 90 plus points.
You've
to win
got
the
a point
league.
in it. It is quite early, but I also do think that City and Liverpool. I think Liverpool with depth, we might be able to catch them, but I don't see us catching City.
Chelsea do have Liverpool and City coming up in the beginning of January, so I do think those games will be pivotal in terms of whether they finish in the title race, and I assume they'll have all their key players back. So, in my opinion, those 2 games will decide if they're right up there in the title race.
Yeah, I was just wondering to Kalash and Visual. I mean, is there a little bit of pressure on Tuchel at this point in time? Do you think any sort of like we know Chelsea's owners, but in terms of negative football, starting to maybe pick up a few draws or losses, is there any sort of pressure on Tuchel, or is everything fine?
I don't think you should blame Tuchel, to be honest. We have we have a strong team, but like we just don't have I don't know. We're lacking that clinical edge.
We struggled with like injuries and stuff, so I wouldn't fully blame him. Like we
Yeah,
are
I
playing a
wouldn't-
bit negative, and like he has made some poor decisions here and there within like the formation
Policy.
stuff. But I still do think that it's too early for him to.
Yeah,
Like, I think if this carries on for a couple more months, we just keep drawing games. But I don't think that'll happen. So I think it's fine.
3 or 4 weeks ago, we were just talking about Chelsea going
Yeah,
for
it just shows how
titles,
reactionary
winning
people
thing.
are.
Yeah, and now we're talking about
Right.
City in that place, and like anything could happen.
It could change like that. So I don't
yeah.
think.
Knowing the Chelsea board, though, I see if Chelsea finish third and they don't win any trophy, I do see Tuchel getting sacked. That's if Chelsea finish third.
What?
Nah, I don't see that happening.
I don't really see that too.
It's
Third with no
tact-
trophy.
it's that
Nah,
tantrum
that's not happening.
finishing second and not winning any trophy, considering
That's a completely different time, though, man. Like, I think right now, if we get third with no trophies, I think there will be a bit of pressure to win a trophy or something. But I still do think it's fine. I don't see it as a huge problem. We don't. I think we'll get third and maybe like an FA Cup or something. Even if we don't, it's not huge worry.
Yeah.
Another thing that could be hindering Chelsea a little bit is your new signings. A bit like last season, perhaps not living up to the expectation. Lukaku and Sal, in particular. I wonder what you think of what they're doing right now.
I think
Lukaku-
Saul is not suited to
Yeah,
this
yeah.
team, man. He's just not good enough. But I think Lukaku.
He was alright in the Wolves game, but he was alright in the Wolves. But it's just as a whole,
I
he's
really
one of
think
the
people
worst
had
signings
many
of
high
the season.
hopes for Sal because he is only a number. Lukaku, he costs 100 million. He was expected to solve the striking crisis for Chelsea. Bearing
Nah, I think
last
pre-injury. I think pre-injury he was all
He
right,
was alright.
and then injury and COVID. I still think, like, I
Yeah.
think Saul. I don't think he'll be.
I think if we had Lukaku playing for the Wolves game, we would have like at least got a goal by him, or not even Lukaku. Even if Werner played, just even if we had like a proper striker playing.
I also do
Just
think
that.
I don't think we're using him properly. Whenever he plays, he just
Yeah, exactly.
crosses into him. Like, yeah, he's good at heading, but like at Inter, he could do way more. He could dribble. He could, like, his passing's improved. Like, so why are we just using him strictly just in the box? like on a poacher or something. He's not a poacher. We should
I
be using him.
remember Lukaku's debut against Arsenal, and where we saw his hold up play and stuff like that. Where he,
Exactly. He was linking up
and
the
it worked.
play, he was
So
scoring.
yeah.
So I don't understand it. Like from that first game, his roles like changed. He's just been. I think maybe because we were not scoring as much, Tuchel wanted him to be in the box more. So maybe that might be a problem.
And especially, it's really frustrating when there's like crosses happening and there's like zero aerial threat in the box, and like every single cross that we make, there's like
we just cross the ball too much now. But I think
we cross the ball, we get nothing from it. So.
Hopefully, with Lukaku, we start to use him with more like linking up the play and stuff because he's more than capable of doing that. He's not just a poacher. So hopefully, we use him like that. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Up every time. But I think about Saul. I don't think he's cut out for this team or this league.
Yeah.
Or maybe you were expecting Sal to not be as good if it was only a loan, because you wouldn't have bought him because you needed. He might have been.
Yeah, but we didn't expect him to be this bad. We expected him to be a good like backup option, in case any of the midfielders got injured. But he's been way below par when we've called upon him. Like Vishwa said, Wolves, he was all right. Like he didn't really do much, but he didn't do anything bad. But before that, he's been putting like I remember his debut against Villa when he got hooked at half time. It's one of the worst performances I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like it was just it's been pretty terrible.
Yeah, but to be fair, he was good at Atletico. A lot of people were talking about him.
Which
I remember after the
but like near the end, he wasn't very good. There's a reason. Like if a club like Atletico is learning how to play like Saul, like a couple of years ago, he was like a sought after midfielder, and like Atletico just weren't selling him. And now a couple of years later, they're loaning him out with an option to buy. Something must have gone wrong. So yeah, I don't think we saw that. But, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, Tuchel's first game as manager was a 0-0 to Wolves. Let's just hope history repeats itself. So, yeah.
You have a tricky step just coming up, so and your best players will be back soon. So now I think this is a real test for Thomas to see how he does with this full squad back against the biggest and best teams.
Yeah.
I don't think it's time to push panic buttons just yet. No, like it's still a bit like he's had like half a season. He had half last season, and he's had half of this season. I think it's too early, but we'll see.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on another one then.